The Boys Season 4, Episode 6 review. Here we go. I just want to start by saying this episode was, I saw the promo for it a few days ago on Monday when they released it. I'm like, okay, Tek Knight's in it. We all know how it's gonna go. But I wasn't thinking it was gonna be this extreme. I don't know why. I just thought maybe some fight goes down at the actual Tek Knight party, like the mansion party. But I didn't think anything like this would happen. And we got way more than I think everyone was expecting. I did not expect to go, honestly, for that long, that deep in pause. No, that was not supposed to be a reference. But yeah. So I guess I just want to start with the twist at the very end, and then we'll make our way through the things. So at the end, we find out that this whole time that obviously Ryan's mom, she is just a figure of like just a figure of imagination to Butcher. We knew that the whole time that she's not actually real, but she's trying like kind of like the good angel on the side, and she's trying to like get him to do the stuff, don't do the bad stuff, and then try to obviously save her kid Ryan. But then we find out at the end when after like this whole episode is pretty much for Butcher at least his arc is like just trying to get the doctor Smear to pretty much commit to making the virus so that it can so that Butcher can use it to pretty much just kill Homelander. One that's strong enough, but he doesn't have enough time and all this, and his legs obviously just not even there. It's cut off. It's gone. And we thought, okay, that's because of I forget his name. It's gonna call him Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the actor's name instead. But Butcher and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, they're actually the ones who did that together, who cut his leg off. And if you remember from the last episode. And fast forward, we find out at the end of the episode that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is it's a figure of imagination to Butcher. He's also fake. He's not actually real. It's just because of the side effects from what's called the Compound V, and that's what it is. It's actually not. He's actually not a real guy. He's been dead for years, and then he talks about Ezekiel and stuff. But yeah, he's been dead for years. Like he's just not there. But he's supposed to be, I guess, in the way like the bad angel on his side. At least that's the way I got it. Ryan's mom's a good angel, then Jeffrey D. Morgan's supposed to be the bad angel. And I was wondering, like, something's up. I'm like, I don't know what it was. I'm like, his writing was so like, I don't know, his writing was so plain. I didn't even feel invested at all in the character. And I don't know if maybe it makes more sense now. Maybe that was the point because he's actually not a real character. So, or sorry, he's not a real person, actually like alive currently in the story. He's actually just dead. So maybe that's why. But still, I found it very interesting. And that's like the only thing I think of why the writing was so like dry for him. Like I didn't even care about him at all. So maybe that's why, just because he was already a dead person. But I found that very interesting. I'm like, damn, okay, so now if you rewatch the episodes knowing that they actually showed it, but then Butcher pretty much goes back, like he's like realizing, he's like, wait a minute, all these choices I made, all these times where I was talking to him, it was fake. It's just my mind just playing tricks on me, and that's exactly what it was. And we see him pretty much just having like um, panic attacks and stuff like that. Yeah, like I'm like, damn, this is crazy. I'm like, okay, this is actually a good thing. Before I'm like, this is very dry, but it's actually good. Okay, so that was a twist. That was pretty insane. And the next thing I want to talk about is Kimiko and Frenchie. So throughout this episode, Kimiko's going back to this going back to pretty much the institution where um it's called Frenchie is at, where he's locked up. And he's denied visitors, so whenever Kimiko tries to go there, they just deny. They're like, nah, sorry. He's not taking any visitors, and obviously they can't do anything about that. They just gotta respect it. And at the very end of the episode, after the whole um, Tek Knight situation, she goes back and then she's like, please let Norris go to the employee that's working there that's been rejecting her all this time. And then she's like, and then I forget what she says, but then I think she's gonna eventually lead her back in, or let her like go meet him, even though like you're not supposed to. And we'll probably see it in like the next episode, the penultimate episode. So I'm curious what's gonna happen to that, but yeah, I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is cool little stuff. I'm like, it's fine. It is what it is. I didn't really have many thoughts about that. And then we have A Train, obviously. Actually, we'll talk about A Train later. Um, there's one scene of, I mean, for Annie, at least for Starlight, where she comes into contact with, yeah, she comes into contact with Firecracker when they're trying to save Hughie, and then they kind of just exchange some words, and then she's like, I don't know if she's telling the truth or just saying that so that she can like buy time to, get get her close enough to get Firecracker close enough to her so that she can tranquilize her. But I think that's what it was. I don't think she meant anything she said. like, nah, that was Starlight or whatever. That was me. Like we're the same person, whatever it is. But yeah, that's like the only thing significance I can really say about Starlight throughout this episode. That's like the only significant part, for her at least. And then the Deep and Noir had one little, I guess, bit near like the front load of the episode, and this is Noir pretty much saying, "Yeah, I'm done with this, man. Like I'm done. Like I'm not even enjoying this. I don't like killing people. I don't like this." And the Deep's trying to like convince pretty much not to quit, and that you have to be a killer in order to, make it in this, I guess. And the Deep's like, me and the other old Noir were like best friends and stuff. And then yeah, they just kind of talk about that, and then I guess he just convinces the new Noir to just stay, I guess, for the time being. And that's pretty much all we saw from those two, because the main stuff was going on. The majority of the episode was based off of the Tek Knight party. And then also we see, I guess we can just go over the rest of the stuff now. Actually, yeah. So near the end of the episode, we see Homelander, Firecracker. Firecracker comes to Homelander's pretty much like his place, and then it's like, "You help me like with this," and I let Starlight go. Blah blah. She's lying. She didn't want to admit she got tranquilized, and she's like, "I owe you all this because you gave me all this stuff, so I'm in debt to you." And then Homelander wasn't really caring, and then she's like, "Here, look at this," and I'm not gonna describe it, but you know what happens. And some milk comes out. Can't even believe I'm saying this. And then it just goes all over his face. And then, bro, what am I describing, bro? I can't believe this. And then he's just like mesmerized by it. And then he's like, can't resist. He's like, wait, you did that for me. And right here is where we see the other, like the old Homelander, where he's more like vulnerable. Right here, like he's got like hypnotized. And then the next scene, we see a cut, and then he's just lying on the bed, all like goo goo gaga, like a baby. I mean, sorry, on the couch, all like a baby, like goo goo gaga. And then he's just, yeah, sucking the milk. Oh my god, man. Like, what am I describing? So it finally happened because they were teasing like early on in the, I think, third episode or maybe second episode, I forget which one it was, that they were eventually gonna, let's say, converge. Yeah, that's the best word. Um, what else? Near the opening episode, we see, um, pretty much, we realize that A Train is, he talks to MM, and he's like, I'm in Toronto, meet me up here, blah blah, and then all these things are going on. And then after MM uh, is done that debrief with A Train, then tells the rest of the gang, he's like, he was saying to Starlight Huey, he's like, hey, A Train just told me that there's a party going on at Tek Knight as mansion, and this guy named um, Webweaver, Webweaver, he's gonna be there, and yeah, just pretty much they gotta go get him, like get a suit, and then Huey's gonna have to act like him, and get to Tek Knight, and because they're trying to plant the what's called a device to hear, without actually being caught, being discreet about it. And that was the plan. But the way they go about it, getting the suit, MM goes, and then he's like, "Here, I bought you this, right? Whatever, his drugs, his substance." And then he's like, "Man, I can't do it." And then he's like, "You need to put this in me, the thing, in order to." Then MM puts it in, and then he accidentally puts it in his hole where he has the web squirting out, and then he had to redo it again. And then he put it actually somewhere else, and then he finally put it in, and then obviously it's dirty, it's nasty. I was like, God damn, he's because he's a clean guy. He's very hygienic. He likes using um just cleaning his hands, pretty much sanitizing a lot. And then he gets it off, and then the guy just squirts in his face. And then Evan, no Evan, right? Because he's like very hygienic. He freaks out, and the Huey walks. He's like, "Oh damn!" He's like, "I got you. Use the hand sanitizer." And he's like, "I'm gonna need more than that." So that was pretty funny, and they got the suit that way because the guy was pretty much out of it. And then Huey's in the suit. We see that, and yeah, Huey's in the suit. That's how we got to that point. And then I guess for MM wise, what else on MM? He also throughout the episode was like having like he was trying to meditate, calm his nerves down because he was having like a lot of like anxiety and stuff. So he was just trying to calm down. But whenever he tried to do the meditation on the app, he'd always get disrupted, disturbed by other things. And that was like a theme throughout the episode. And then it boiled up to when he had to shoot Sage in the head because otherwise she was gonna go run to the thing and hit the numbers, and it's gonna alert everyone else, especially Homelander, that she's in trouble, and then obviously that would be bad for them, for the boys. So yeah, obviously he can't let that. And then she tried it, and then he had to shoot her in the head, and then he was like stunned. He's like, yeah, he lost control because she kept on saying stuff about his daughter, and obviously it's not gonna take that, which is absolutely correct. And then after that, it was like, yeah, that was insane. That was insane. And then yeah, he just has we thought it was a heart attack, but then once A Train is convinced, once they convince A Train to take him to the hospital, even though he's reluctant, we find out later that no, Evan just had a panic attack because they're very similar. People misconstrued them. I think they have similar symptoms, but yeah, it's because he was having a panic attack. That's what happened. And then we also realized, yeah, A Train. I thought he was about to get compromised for a second there because Sage is gone. I'm like, oh, I'm like, does she know? But no, he was fine. But yeah, bro, the writing's on the wall for A Train. I can't. It's still like that. That's all I got. But that's all I got to say about A Train. He saved MM, clutched up, and I think Homelander might be onto him too. If you see in that one scene where he's like, "Where's all these guys?" Yeah, and then yeah, Hughie was very vulnerable, and so was Homelander. We'll get into that in a second. Um, yeah, what else? Yeah, Sage, whole bunch of stuff happened to her, but the main thing was when MM had shooting in the head, and then we know that from the last episode. I think it was last episode, maybe the episode before, the Deep, when they put the thing in her brain, and then it makes her eye, and then it makes her like forget stuff, right, for a bit, and then that's exactly what happened. Then she turns on like like a kid mode. She goes in like child mode, and then Homelander's so confused because he doesn't even know, and they realize like okay, but he's like still, come on, get a grip of yourself. And then we see Newman as well. Um, yeah, Newman is doing just Newman things, just being like two sided, and then she's trying to convince those people of Homelander, all those important people, pretty much to just all this plan, and then they're not really convinced, and then from Homelander, and then Newman steps in, and then she's like, "Here's I'm the one who's actually in charge. I'm gonna be doing this," and then she gives her like long, like kind of like a monologue, and then they're like, "Okay, fine." um, yeah, that was about it for Newman, and then what else? Let's get into the actual part about the Tek Knight party. So yeah, once they go there, they're obviously Hughie's in the suit, and they send him out, and then it's because Tek Knight is actually waiting for Webweaver because he actually accepted the role as his new sidekick. But then we fast forward, we find out like after obviously Hughie puts the audio devices down. Then Tek Knight's like, I only show this to, he wants to see something cool. I only show this to some people. It's like he thought it was a tour. And they go into that room where a little bit later it's MM and stuff. And then we realize that obviously it's a secret book thing. And then the door behind in the elevator, and then they go in it. And then he's like, oh, this is the Tek Cave, the Tek Knight Cave. And then we go down. The doors open. We see this. I can't even describe this yet, but we see all this stuff. Let's just say all this very crazy stuff, and yeah, Tek Knight's a little freaky, man. Not a little, he's very freaky. And then yeah, all that happens where Ashley even comes in and does that, and then yeah, I feel bad for you. You got sprayed on. Let's say he got abused, and even yeah, and then Tek Knight's like, what's the save for it? And then he finds out obviously this Hughie. All these things happen there, and later, I can't believe. And then also his old Tek Knight doesn't like liars, and obviously that's how he found out from like the heartbeat and stuff, pulse, that he was lying and that he was actually Webweaver. But then also his previous sidekick is also just attached there because I don't know what he's done to him or what he's gonna do. Tek Knight was to him. Yeah, that's what happened. And then they finally the boys find out, oh, he was in trouble. Then they go and get him, and then that's when the Starlight and Firecracker thing happens, and then also the MM thing, and then finally Starlight and Kimiko they make their way in, and yeah, we just see Tek Knight there, and then he was about to carve a hole into Hughie, but luckily Kimiko just like freaking like kicked him, and it didn't happen. But he was getting ready. Tek Knight was deeps and stuff. I don't want to go like into detail about that stuff, but if you know, you probably watched the episode. That's why you're watching the review. But yeah, you know what happened. And then obviously they get him out, and he's traumatized. But at the same time, then they get Tek Knight because he's knocked out, and then they just tie him up. And then they pretty much like he just tell us what Homelander and Sage are planning. because they know that you're working with them. And this whole time, Tek Knight thought Homelander was going to come to his aid, that Homelander loved him. Homelander made very clear stuff, so they didn't. And Tek Knight still thought, I don't know, for some reason that he would come, but he didn't. And that's what happened. Homelander did not come, and he didn't realize till later. Once Firecracker pretty much said that Tek Knight's dead. But yeah, then they pretty much just get the sidekick gets loose, and then he gives them the laptop and shows them that his bank account stuff is there, and they start making transactions until like millions, because he's a billionaire, right? So like millions upon millions. Like I think like 160, like a 200 million probably, approximately, until he finally breaks. He's like, this is what they're doing. They're pretty much running like prison camps, and yeah, just super inhumane stuff. And then they're like shocked, like damn. And then yeah, they leave, and then we see Hughie's traumatized. He was traumatized. He's very vulnerable. I just showed about one of the main themes of this episode was kind of like the mental health and vulnerability. Like Homelander is vulnerable. We saw that as soon as the milk went on him, he was vulnerable. And Hughie pretty much got, not even pretty much, Hughie literally got sexually assaulted. And obviously he's traumatized, and he's still getting over he's still grieving from the death of his dad, like the horrific way that went about. And on top of that, like not even that long later, he literally gets sexually assaulted, not only by Tek Knight, but by Ashley as well, because Ashley's freaky with Tek Knight because they have a history. But another thing I missed out was that after as they're leaving the Tek Knight cave, uh, Tek Knight, his butler who raised him pretty much, was the one who actually put him down. He's like, I can't, man, I can't support that. I've supported this guy this whole time, done everything for him, but not having those prison camps like that, nah, I can't support that. And then he just pretty much strangles him. And Tek Knight is dead just like that. So we're not gonna see any more Tek Knight, which is honestly kind of sad. But I loved him in Gen V in season 4 of The Boys. His role was actually really good in these 2 episodes. But I'm glad we at least got a Tek Knight centered episode before he went out, which is great to see. But yeah, then Hughie was traumatized, and this is speaking about the mental health of Hughie, and yeah. And also earlier on we see in like one of the beginning scenes that his it's with his mom, and then they're also just pouring his dad's ashes like while they're taking a tour in New York, and then that's where like a heckler is with Starlight. But yeah, besides the point, this episode overall was way better than the one last week. Last week was mixed. This one overall is just the whole thing, the pacing, everything. Just like this episode way better. Let me know what you think down below. I've been rambling for like 17 minutes.